trigger warning after a cup of coffee, after a good meal, or as soon as you need to have a face-to-face chat. And I'm talking about bad breath, and it can be downright embarrassing. Well, here to tell us how to beat it, please welcome dentist Dr. Natalie Archer. Welcome to the show, Dr. Archer. All right, so tell us, how common is bad breath?
Bad breath is pretty common. In Canada, we often say 35 to 45% of Canadians have bad breath.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
So it's a lot of people. So 1 in 4 of us, even here today, would have bad breath.
Right, okay. And we're going to go through a true and false, putting our bad breath know-how. You guys all have your paddles to the test here. Okay.
Right.
So the first one, guys, true or false? Brushing and flossing regularly is your best defense against bad breath. I'm going to say it's true. We have 99.9%, well, 100%.
I know,
saying
such
true.
an easy question. I feel like it's a little bit of a trick question, though.
The answer is true.
Okay.
So brushing and flossing is our primary method of combating bad breath and keeping our mouths clean. And floss is one of the most fantastic tools that we could be using out there because it really is the best thing that can remove food particles in between the teeth.
Oh.
We know that if food is left there and if you didn't floss out properly, what happens is that bacteria will break down, the little food particles will be left, and the compound is like a sulfur type of compound, which gives us that fermented
That's
taste.
where the really bad breath comes from.
That's where the fermented bad breath is. So, you
So
know,
it's almost more important to floss than it is to brush.
I floss first.
Okay.
Get everything out, do a really great job, and then brush.
And then brush, and then
makes
floss
sense.
again.
Yeah, yeah.
Just in case you're nervous. All right, so our next question, all right. So dentists will always recommend using 10 inches of floss when cleaning your teeth. True or false? 10 inches. Okay, we're kind of like 50-50 here in the audience. Dr. Archer, what's the answer? How much floss do we need?
Well, it's actually false, and I just happen to carry my floss with me wherever I go.
Of course, as a dentist does.
It's a great tool.
Yeah.
And so the trick I use is I just take the floss out right to my elbow.
Oh, that's a good trick.
Which is a great trick. And I can tell you it's definitely more than 10 inches because 10 inches would be around here.
Yeah, yeah.
And it'd be really hard and, really hard.
Especially when you got to get
to
them back.
And then these middle fingers, the reason why we have those is for floss.
Yeah.
And we wrap it around, not too tight to constrict, but it is the perfect little teeter-totter of getting in there and getting in properly. And I often say, floss only the teeth you want to keep.
Okay.
Oh, wow. That's
good
Which
advice.
is all of them.
That's
Which is all of them.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. Now, what about? I'm addicted to those little picks. The ones that you click. Are those?
Sure.
Those are just as good. Yeah.
They're great. I find I would challenge you to use the picks and then see what you catch with the floss after.
Oh.
Oh.
I think that's a really nice way of her saying floss your teeth.
Floss your teeth.
Have blueberries. Try that and see how many little blueberry skins you get out afterwards.
Oh.
That's a good.
The blueberry test is the good one.
That's
Okay,
a
we're
good
gonna do
one.
the blueberry
Yes.
test.
All right.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. So, true, false, everybody. Bad breath is at its worst in the evening after a full day of eating and drinking. I'm gonna say
No, that's false. It's the morning breath. That'll knock you on your back. Bad stuff.
We're pretty well all false.
What is the correct answer,
Yeah.
Dr. Archer?
So the correct answer is false. This is a very
false.
smart audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bad breath, as we know, is probably the worst. We can all attest to having dragon breath first thing in the morning. So we've slept a good 6 hours plus, ideally 8. We haven't been swallowing as much. We haven't been talking. We usually wake up parched.
Yeah.
We don't have saliva. We all have bad breath.
Yeah.
I mean, the only people who probably don't are little babies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Little babies with lots of saliva and liquid gold, I call it, that saliva. You never see a baby with bad breath because of that.
Right.
So anything we can do to make sure that we increase our saliva flow rate is great. So probably having a glass of alcohol or using alcohol type of mouthwash at the end of the day is probably one of the worst things you can do.
Oh, because it's gonna dry you out.
It's going to dry you
It just
out.
dries you out even more.
And then when you drool all over your pillow, the little saliva you did have left, that's it. That's it. Okay.
Wow.
All right, so our next question is, so sugar-free gum is one of the best ways to combat bad breath temporarily. Is that true or false? Sugar-free gum for a temporary fix. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this one.
The audience is right. I'm going to say true as well.
Okay.
Thank you, audience.
Yeah. So it is one of the best things. Sugar-free gum, if chewed for 5 minutes or less, is a wonderful way. it gets your saliva enzymes, your amylase enzymes going, and it's probably the best thing over any candy or any mint or anything else.
And it's a temporary effect.
It is temporary. It's not meant for a 1 hour chew.
Yeah.
Really? Not even an hour?
No.
Well, like what, 15 minutes?
5 minutes or less. 5 minutes or less. It's an elevator thing.
Okay. It tastes good after 5 minutes. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm listening to you, Dr. Archer, of course.
Everybody, true or false? You can tell if you have bad breath. I'm going to say false.
Oh,
yeah.
this is false, because if we knew, we wouldn't have it.
Yeah. Right?
Right?
Correct, yes. Most people cannot tell that they have bad breath. I mean, it's one of those difficult conversations, like how do you tell somebody that they have bad breath?
Right.
Yeah.
But, as a little test, as a cheat, you can always do a little hand sort of thing. You should always probably have a trusted buddy to just have that frank conversation, listen,
I was also told to lick the back of your hand and then smell it, and then you'll be able to tell. No?
Well, I guess it depends what was on your hand last.
Where you had that hand could be smelling something else.
So why can't we tell?
It's an interesting thing. Our own perception of how we smell things, how we perceive things,
right.
And even our own taste things is very sensitive. And even throughout the day, it changes. And sometimes as the birthdays go on, our sense of smell decreases.
Okay.
So think about that. And some people also are very sensitive to smells, or bad smells, or good smells,
right.
Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So I often say your best resource for that is a dental professional,
right.
Your dentist, your dental hygienist. Explaining to them, can you let me know if I have bad breath?
Right.
Okay. And we do.
Yeah.
If anybody's going to tell you want your dentist to tell you.
Of course.
We will tell you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Archer. Great information. That is a great everybody, and an easy way to make your teeth look whiter. It's coming up with English.
Spits in the whole mouth. Spits in everything. Fresh breath, white teeth. That was really good. Here's what's coming up on The Goods.